Believe it or not, Liverpool fans have yet to see the best of Alexis Allister, despite that brilliant run he had last season. However, this coming campaign, Arne's slot might elevate the World Cup winner to new heights. See, we can all agree that the midfield is where games are won and lost, right? Having a balanced midfield with well-drilled dynamics not only threatens the opposition's goal, but also limits their chances to create opportunities. Now, when it comes to Arne's slot and the squad he inherited, it's safe to say that the Dutchman has a large pool of talented young players to form his midfield. However, we believe Allister will be the first name on the team sheet next season due to the crucial role he can play. That's why in today's video we'll be explaining how Allister might already be familiar with Arne's tactics and how playing this new role might help him reach the next level. But before we do get into it, please do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more Liverpool deep dives. Before we delve into how Allister can thrive in Arne's slot system, we need to take a closer look at how the Dutchman uses his midfielders. By now, everyone knows that Arne's slot employs a fluid 4-3-3 formation with a flexible structure that adapts based on game state and opposition. However, during his last season with Feyenoord, Slot consistently adopted a specific approach during build-up play known as the staggered lines approach. From goal kicks, Feyenoord utilised what is called staggered lines with a flat back four and the goalkeeper involved. Slot positioned as double pivot players ahead of each other. For example, Jurgen, the number 6, would drop deeper while Timber, the number 8, would position himself further up the field. So what's the purpose of this strategy? Aren't double pivot players supposed to be on the same line to relieve pressure and provide more passing options? Well, not necessarily, and this staggered approach can sometimes be more beneficial than playing in a traditional style. This staggered lines approach allows the team to use bounce passes. It's similar to how we used to play 1-2s off the wall as kids to get past opponents. The principle is quite similar. Let's explain how this one plays out on the pitch. Jurgen plays deeper than Timber to bait more pressure from the opponents, while Timber probes for free space to drop into. Once his teammates spot Timber, the number 8 quickly plays a bounce pass to the flanks where the fullbacks are positioned or recycle possession by passing it back to the keeper or centre-backs. Another key aspect of this staggered lines approach is that when the backline manages to play out from the back without involving the highest pivot, that player finds himself closer to the opponent's half, allowing him to attack the spaces quicker. At the same time, if the defenders lose possession, that high midfielder has less ground to cover when tracking back. This approach provides numerical superiority in both defensive and offensive phases. Hold these thoughts for a second because we'll be touching on them later. But now let us explain how Allister will fit into all of this. The World Cup winner will undoubtedly be a regular feature in Arne's slot's double pivot, playing the Jurgen Timber role. Let's say Wataru Endo, Stefan Bajcetic, or a new number 6 partners with Allister in the double pivot. In this setup, the Argentinian would be the highest of the double pivot. Once the goal kick is played, he can drop deeper into the spaces as his partner attracts the marking from the opposition. With the ball played to the dropping Allister, he can instantly switch the play towards the fullbacks or recycle the ball to one of his centre-backs with a single pass. This often allows the team to bypass the initial line of the opponent's press. Why do we think Allister can easily fit in such a system? Well, it's simple. He played similarly during his time at Brighton. In his last season with the Seagulls, Alexis Allister played in a double pivot with Moises Caicedo in a manner similar to Feyenoord's midfield. The duo was essential in the build-up phase, taking turns to help each other lose their markers and receive the ball in spaces to progress play. They even created a staggered line when Brighton initiated the build-up phase. For instance, in their FA Cup semi-final game against Manchester United, you can see the staggered lines approach with Caicedo and Allister positioned on different lines. However, when defenders start to circulate the ball to create space, you can see how Allister quickly drops deep to receive it. Once he received the ball, he used a bounce pass to shift the play to Estupiñán on the left-hand side with a single touch. Not only is the Argentinian used to this tactic, but he also has all the tools needed to contribute to the Reds' build-up phase. In fact, playing in such a role might even hide some of his weaknesses. When Maka first joined Liverpool, everyone expected him to play higher up the pitch, where his creativity could shine the most. However, especially at the start of the season, he had to play as the lone number 6. Although his performances improved halfway through the campaign, Spain, he still faced some issues. At Brighton, McAllister thrived by connecting with others through quick combinations and short passes in small spaces. However, playing as the single pivot for Liverpool, he often found himself in larger areas as the Reds' direct and vertical style spread out the lines of the players. In these vast spaces, some of his weaknesses became apparent. Under pressure, McAllister looked uncomfortable at times and often lost the ball. This is highlighted by him being the third player and the first midfielder in the Liverpool squad to be dispossessed a total of 35 times. Additionally, his pass selection and decision making were rushed under pressure, which often led to a decline in the quality of the Reds' build-up play. This video is sponsored by Clothing. Clothing is a Liverpool clothing site owned by match-going fans. Each design is limited edition and is perfect to wear on a match day, on the terraces at Anfield, down your local, or cozy in the comfort of your own home. As stated, each design is limited edition, and if a product is showing out of stock, they will not be restocking the item, so if you have your eye on something, grab it fast. Lastly, Clothing wants fellow Reds to be 100% satisfied with their orders, so if there is a reason you're not happy, they will refund you with no questions asked. Head over to clothing.com or down into the link in the description to get all of your Liverpool merchandise. Anyway, let's get back into today's video. This is all due to how isolated the player found himself as the deepest midfielder, contrary to his Brighton days where he had plenty of teammates in closer proximity. With Slot potentially applying his staggered lines approach, we have the chance to see McAllister thrive in a role that he's already familiar with, which will help minimize and overshadow his weaknesses. But that's not all. Remember how we said that playing at the highest of the pivots allows players to help both the defense and influence the attacking phase by positioning themselves close to either side of the field. Let's dive deeper into this aspect of McAllister's potential role. First, let's start with how much influence he will have out of possession. We can all agree that McAllister is a top work rate and is relentless when it comes to tackling. In fact, he topped the Liverpool squad for both players tackled with 99 and most tackles won with 55, showcasing his massive effort out of possession. Not only that, but the Argentinian has been one of the best defensive performers for his country, especially in the latest Copa America tournament. He averaged 2.64 tackles attempted per 90 minutes, while challenging 3.05 dribbles per game. There's no doubt about it, McAllister was a key player for Scaloni, bringing tenacity in tackling to stop the opposition from gaining momentum and maintaining the side's defensive shape throughout this tactical discipline and positional awareness. This defensive contribution will only get better when McAllister occupies that double pivot role. It won't just be about stopping the opposition from scoring, it will also be used to create chances for the Reds. It's well known that Slot likes to press high and aggressively, and this is where McAllister's tenacity will come into play. Whether through pressing or counter-pressing, the number 10 will find himself in close proximity to the forward unit. With his eagerness to put in tackles, there's no doubt that the Reds will gain high turnovers, from which they can create chances thanks to him. Alexis has averaged 0.61 tackles in the final third in the latest Copa America tournament, placing him in the 92nd percentile of midfielders in that competition. The same can be said about his defensive performances for the Reds last season, as he ranked high in the majority of defensive metrics. McAllister even managed 0.20 shot creating defensive actions in the last Copa America, showcasing his ability to transform defense into attack. In addition to his involvement in the build-up phase and his defensive contributions in the defensive third and pressing structure, playing in this high pivot role will also minimize some of McAllister's weaknesses, such as defending transitions. Alexis often had issues defending transitions, mainly due to his stamina over long distances. Consider Luton Town's goal early in the season and United's winner in the FA Cup, although the latter might be understandable since it was in the final minute of extra time. With another player covering for him in these situations, McAllister's vulnerability in transitions will no longer be targeted by the opposition. So we've covered how McAllister's build-up and defensive abilities will improve in this role. Now let's delve into his offensive numbers. We often talked about how Slot needs to flip the system, putting Szoboszlai as the left-sided number 8, while McAllister takes the right-hand side. This adjustment is mainly due to the Argentinian's creative ability in the right half space. Whether it's through settled player or in transitions, Alexis can split defense with a pass or make an underlapping run to shatter the opposition's defensive blocks. Two examples of this was his brilliant cross to Darwin Núñez against Nottingham Forest in the league, and that incredible run into the right half space to provide the assist for Angel Di Maria in the 2022 World Cup final. Next season, McAllister potentially will have better conditions to work with during the build-up phase, something he is already familiar with from his Brighton certain days. The Argentinian will also find cover during transitions and will be in close proximity to both the defensive third and the final third, aiding defensively and impressing in counter-pressing. Playing in this double pivot role will also allow McAllister to get into those areas where he is most dangerous through his passing, runs and accurate shots from outside of the box. That's why we have no doubt we will see a much better player in McAllister next season. So what do you guys think? Will Maka thrive in the double pivot role? And if so, do you think he should be paired with Endo, Bajcetic or a new defensive midfielder? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed today's video, please do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more Liverpool deep dives. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Take care.